Hello, Stitchy friends. How's everyone doing? Today is Tuesday, April 7th, 2026. My name is Andrew, and this is The Runner Stitcher, my channel where I talk mostly about my cross-stitch journey, a little bit about running, and a little bit about walking lately as well. So if you're new here, welcome. I hope you enjoy what you see. I hope you stick around and continue on this journey with me. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back and spending a little bit of time with me. I really do appreciate it. I know there's so much going on right now and there's so many channels to watch, so I really thank you for spending a little bit of time with me today. This is Flosstube number 87. I can't believe we're at 87 of these videos already. I know some of you have watched from the very beginning and you've seen this whole journey, and that is just incredible to me. We really have made some progress on some of these projects, and yeah, 87 just feels like a big number. We are inching our way close to 100. That seems closer than I thought it would be ever before. So anyway, thank you for being here and for joining me on this journey. Today is a very gloomy, rainy day in Florida. There is not a drop of sunshine going to happen today, but that's okay. We need the rain here, and it'll be good for us to have this rain. Hopefully it'll make everything much greener, and that'll be nice too. But yeah, it's really rainy today, so I wasn't able to go on well, I could have run in the rain this morning, but I decided not to go for my run this morning. I was supposed to do 7 miles. There's a chance that I might squeeze it in later this evening when the rain stops, or possibly I'll just push it back to tomorrow, but we'll see. It was really coming down this morning at around 7, and I just decided, no, I don't need to run in the rain today. So I'm gonna stay inside and just enjoy this day, probably get some stitching done after I'm done filming here, and just kind of enjoy the rainy day. I wanted to start off just with a little bit of housekeeping things. I wanted to say that the winner for the $25 123 Stitch gift card from my giveaway from a couple videos ago has claimed it now, and so congratulations, Shell, on your win there. And I'm getting that gift card off to her soon. So thank you for everybody who watched and entered into that giveaway. It was a lot of fun to give that away for 7,000 subscribers. And yeah, I still can't believe that number, and I'm so happy that the channel's still continuing to grow. So congratulations again there. I also wanted to say a quick thank you to a couple people who took advantage of the Buy Me a Coffee link below. That really means a lot to me. I really do appreciate your kind gifts. And so I wanted to say thank you to Susan, Tamra, Amy, and Barbara. Thank you very much. Now, typically, this is the point where I would jump into my whips, but I'm actually going to insert a little clip here right now of what we filmed last night. My mom came on and joined me, and she wanted to give an update on some of her projects that she was working on since the last time you saw her. So I'm going to insert that clip now. All right, we are here to film a very special segment. If you watched kind of back in December when I first got here to Florida, my mom shared some of her projects that she was working on and some of the kits that she had lined up to work on. And I told you that she'd be back on to share some progress. And now that I'm getting ready to go back to New York, it was time to share that update. So my mom is joining me for a little bit today for this little special segment, and we'll go through what she's worked on since you last saw her.
Hi everyone, it's great to be back and show a few things that I've worked out in the meantime. I actually got a finish.
Yep. So here is her finish. You want to talk about it a little bit?
So I have done this one for my granddaughter, and this actually turned out really good. It was an Amazon kit, and sometimes those are hit or miss, but this one really turned out good, I think. I really love the colors, and I'm sure she's going to love it because she loves bright colors and pinks and oranges and all of that. So
she does. I'm sure she's going to love this piece.
So I'm excited to get it framed. I am going to frame it for her, and I probably am not going to give it to her until I do one for my grandson also, and then I'll give them at the same time. So that one will kind of be put away for a while until I get his done. So
hopefully you can kind of see in the camera here the sparkles, because this one is very sparkly. I'm hoping the light is sort of picking it up, but the diamonds on this are just so beautiful and so sparkly. When she first started working on it, we weren't sure how sparkly they were going to be, but now that we have the whole piece completed, it's like it offers more shine than we thought, which is really great. Do you remember where you were when you showed it in December? How far down?
I think I was in around here somewhere, like about the middle.
Yeah.
I think the top was done.
I think she had at least the turtle head done. I'm not
Yeah.
sure how much of the body she had completed or not, but basically since December she was able to kind of work this whole way down to here and complete that all the way to the finish. So
Yeah, and the bottom part really did turn out better than I expected. I wasn't even sure if I was originally gonna keep that on the frame, like in the frame. I was thinking about maybe just cutting that off if I didn't like it when it was all finished. But I really do like it. It's kind of like a shadowy look, and it just, and like Andy said, the diamonds are so shiny and bright in that section that it really does look nice.
And you know, when you hold it up close, it's not the clearest, but that's not how you're supposed to look at it. When you look at it from far back, it actually gives a lot of dimension back here and kind of offers a little like scale of the bottom of the ocean. I think one of my favorite parts of this piece is the sunlight sort of coming through at these different spots. You really can see it, like right up in here. You can see where the sun is like offering this lighter shade of blue, and it really just gives the appearance that the sun is shining through the top of the water onto this turtle, which I think is really cool. I think it came out really good. So, yep, so that's the finish for my niece, her granddaughter. And I guess we'll jump into a little bit of haul right now, because the next piece is the one that she finally ordered for my nephew.
Yeah, he couldn't make up his mind, if you remember. I think I said that the last time. And he was here about a couple weekends ago, and I asked him, and first of all, he wanted a turtle just like Lenny. And I said, are you sure? Let's think of something else. And I said, I found a whale that you might really like. So I got the whale picture that I had of it, and that's what he chose. So.
He seemed to really like it. So this will be the new kit that she starts. It's an orca, again, with sort of the sun kind of coming through the water, and then we've got the rocks at the bottom. This is, obviously the plastic canvas is still on here, or the plastic cover piece is still on here, but you can see all the different diamonds that will go in here. It's a circle diamond, just like the one was before, and it's about the same size. So
it is the same size. Yeah.
I think she was saying that this one will be a little bit easier to do, you think?
I think it will be. It doesn't have as many color changes, so I won't be changing diamonds near as often. And but then I said I might get a little bit bored with it too, because there is really a lot of the same color.
Yeah, there are big sections. I don't know how well you can see this, but there are big sections up here where that's like all the same color. And kind of similar to cross stitching, when you get into those block stitching sections, sometimes it can get a little boring. But I think it'll be a fun piece once it's all done. I think he'll really like it.
Yeah, I'm sure he will like it.
Now, I know a lot of you, we shared some of her other diamond art kits back in December, and a lot of you were wondering which one she was going to start. Was it going to be the gingerbread house? Was it going to be the beach scene? And she hasn't started any of them yet. She's been so focused on getting that turtle piece done, and now she has the orca piece that she wants to finish, so that's going to kind of take top priority. So maybe the next time I'm here in Florida, she'll have a new start of a diamond art to share. We'll see.
I'm hoping. I will start one of the Christmas ones close to Christmas. I know I will. I love working on Christmas things when it gets around Christmas time. So probably it will be the gingerbread, but we'll see.
But the other reason that she hasn't started another diamond art kit was because she did start the needlepoint. And I'll show you just what the kit was that we bought. So you've seen this before when she shared it, but this is a dimensions kit. This is the lighthouse, and here's what this is going to look like. Again, this is a needlepoint kit, so it came with the canvas and all of the yarn and everything in this package. It's her first needlepoint kit, and so the first step was kitting it up and sort of organizing it. So do you want to kind of walk us through how you put everything together and organized it?
Yes, Andy was a big help. I would not have known how to do half of this if he had not been here. And I had told him before I wanted to start needlepoint, and I kept putting it off until I thought, I'm waiting until he comes, and then I'll have him help me pick out a kit, and he can help me get it started. So we purchased these things online. I don't know what they're called. I guess just needle
Thread cards.
Yeah, and we separated all the yarn. The yarn all comes in like great big clumps. So we separated it all, put it all in these things, which there's a lot of yarn to this kit.
There's a lot of different colors, a lot to it.
Yeah.
the nice thing about these thread cards were the holes were a little bit bigger, so you can see like she's got a lot of this white yarn in this one slot here. And you know, for cross stitch we might not need it to be that big, but for needlepoint you have to have it be a big hole to fit all that yarn in. So yeah, so then she organized it, and she basically just filled out a little number that she stuck on there with a little sticky note to say which number it corresponds to in the pattern. So now she's got all her floss organized. It's all in order from 1 to, I think, 40 something is how many colors are in this.
I think it is.
41, this is probably the last one.
41, yeah.
So that was all organized. So once she did that, once she separated everything and broke it down into the numbers and organized it, then she was ready to get started. Well, first we had to get the stretcher bars.
Yes. They were a big help to have, definitely for needlepoint.
So then we put the canvas on the stretcher bars and then basically got started. So I'm going to hold up while she sort of talks you through, but you'll see the progress that she's made so far on her needlepoint kit.
Yes, the stretcher bars definitely were clumsy to work with at first. I really had to get used to it. I've never worked with anything like that before, and it just felt so awkward.
And these are big stretcher bars. Like your piece is really tall and really wide, so it is kind of a bigger piece to be holding. Even for me to show it up, it's like, how do I hold this to look around it? So I can see how it would be awkward at first, for sure.
Yeah, but I have adjusted. I've gotten used to it. I've even learned that, like, when all of this side, I kind of used my left hand to bring the needle in and out because that was just the handiest. But when I got over in here, I actually found that I was, well, up in here, I actually found that I was starting to use my right hand because it was closer to this hand. So I've learned to use both hands with it, which has really helped.
Yeah.
Sometimes I kind of lay it like diagonal across too. Like I don't always hold it straight up and down, so that it's a little easier to get to.
You kind of like prop it up on your your legs and on your body as you're sitting to go through it. But I'm going to zoom in here a little bit now just so we can see more of the stitching that she's completed. But basically in this corner, she started up here at the top with this first little bit of sky, but she has stitched all of this down to here to the bottom of the house. I think there's 1 or 2 more rows, 2 more rows of the lighthouse to go. And I think it looks really great. I think when you hold this back, it really shows the color changes. It really shows the shadows. And, you know, she even did some back stitching. So if you look really closely here at the house, those windows are back stitched. The birds up here are back stitched. And honestly, I think she's doing a really, really great job. I'm really impressed with how she's doing and learning it for this being her first needlepoint kit and how it's really turning out. So do you want to talk through the process of like how you felt when you started, how you're feeling now, what was difficult?
When I first started, I have never worked with like yarn with something like this, and it's double thread, so it is thick, and I'm like, this is just like so hard to get this, like the stitches to look even, because some of them look like they were fatter than others, or and some of it does have to do with the yarn. Some of it is experience also as you go along. It's definitely easier for me to get them tighter now, but I still find that some of the colors, the yarn seems thicker than the other ones, and some of it just seems easier to get the stitches the way I like them. I have started. I feel like my stitches probably have gotten a little bit tighter. And I like it that way because for me, I feel like it looks a little neater, and also it's easier when I come back to do the row below it to go back in those same holes, because if you let it too loose, there's hardly any room to bring that thick thread or thick yarn back up through again.
Yeah.
So that was one thing that I really learned.
And I think she found that mostly when she got into like this section right here, because do you want to talk a little bit about the lighthouse and just the color changes that are in there?
Okay, so the lighthouse really is a lot more of a challenge, especially in this sections here. The what looks white and the blues, there is a total of like 7 or 8 different colors in each little thing across here. And when I get down to this row, I counted them last night, and I think I told Andy there's like 10 or 11 in there, in just this tiny little stretch here.
So in that one row of the bottom row of the lighthouse right here, she's saying there are 9 different colors when you go across here. So with cross stitch, that's hard as well, because it's just a lot of color changes. But with yarn, it's even harder because it makes things really thick on the back. And so she's tried a couple different methods of how to stitch it, but honestly, I think it looks really good. And when you hold this back, all those different shades of white to blue back to white, they really do offer the shadow on the lighthouse that is what you're trying to get. So it was a lot, and it was challenging, but you did a good job on it.
I feel like the one I tried just like dropping the thread down and coming in here. What do you call that? Just dropping.
Yeah.
I tried that for one or two of them. It was really difficult because then you had all this yarn behind here, and when you went to come through with like the reds over top of it, it just was so thick. So you can push it to the side a little bit, but it's harder to do with yarn than what it is with thread, I feel.
Yeah, so what she had sort of tried was the parking method, just sort of bringing the thread down to the next place it would go on the next row and just kind of leaving it there. And if she found that on the back, it was just too thick to go over top of the yarn in the back. So then you started working it how? One color at a time?
Pretty much so. And like if there was more than one color in here of the same color, then I would come across and do whatever the color was. But the reds, I didn't want to park them and drop them down anyway, because when you stitch light, like white especially, over top of this, the red probably would shine through.
Yeah.
Because there was one other place that I tried something of that.
I think we found that with the birds and the back stitching, I think, was that when you carried the thread too far, even the back stitching and the darker colors of the birds, it really showed through the white. And even though the white is like full on the back, it still showed through. So with the lighthouse, she kind of had to stitch each row one at a time and do all the colors in it as you could go. You also stitched the trees in a little bit of a different method too that you sort of liked. Do you want to talk about that?
I did like that method. I actually had like 2 needles. There's basically 2 colors, a little bit of a third color, but most of it was 2 colors. And I just kept both threads or yarns there with the needles, and I kind of worked them in rows, and that way I just could take the next needle and the next color and just keep going and going, because there is a lot of color changes in here. And like I said, I think it was either 2 or 3. 2 were the main colors.
Yeah.
But that worked very well for this section. Down in here, I don't know what I'm going to do yet.
Because you can, I don't know how well you can see the canvas on here, but we can show the actual picture again, that there's just a lot of color changes down there too, with a bunch of different greens, a bunch of different browns, and then even the water. There's so much white and blue that kind of go in there. And you can see the pattern here. It's a lot of color changes. She definitely picked a very tough one for her very first needle point. So I think it'll be a challenge for her, but I think based on what she's done so far, which is probably, about 1/8 of a piece, I would say, 1/8 of the way through, maybe even 1/6 of the way through. It looks really good, and she's learned how to kind of work it in different sections in different ways and just kind of try new things. So I'm sure when she gets down to here, she will find a method that she enjoys and works. Do you want to talk about the back stitching at all?
Yeah, the back stitching, I would have had no idea really how to do these birds. I would have been totally lost without Andy. I don't know what my birds would have looked like. But he was such a help, and now I did the house basically by myself. I asked him a few questions here and there how he would do it, and I'm learning to look a lot at the printed pattern, and also of course the chart that comes with all the colors and stuff. And that really is helpful, especially with the back stitch, I find.
Yeah.
And especially when I was doing this. And the first row I did have Andy help me with, because there were a lot of color changes in here, and we wanted it to make sure that it was even with this top part so that it was not off when we got to the bottom. So after you got the first line in, then it was pretty easy. The first row and it was pretty easy, but that first row was a challenge.
So now, would you say that you're enjoying needlepoint,
yes,
or
I
it's
am.
yeah?
I am. I mostly work at this in the evenings when we're sitting and watching TV. Diamond art I can do, but it's just a little bit harder to do with a light. I like to do it with natural daylight. So I work on that a little more during the day on like weekends or that kind of thing. But the needlepoint is easy to just pick up, and like some nights I just do one row across, you know. I mean, one row of the lighthouse, and that's all I do for that evening. But I do enjoy it. It's been a lot of fun, and I don't know how many years it'll take me to finish it, but
But we'll all be excited to keep watching the progress. So I'm sure the next time I come down here, she'll have a lot more completed, and we'll just keep sharing her journey on this needlepoint kit. Do you have any idea what you're going to try to do next? Are you going to keep coming down on this side? Are you going to save some sky for easier times, or what's your plan of where you're going to go next?
I want to do the sky and the tree along this lighthouse, because I want to come back and do the back stitching, and I can't do the back stitching down along here until I have these in. So the next thing, once I get the lighthouse finished, my next project is to come along and just do this section here. Then yes, this over here I am going to save for times when I just don't have the energy to work on all of these color changes, but feel like doing something.
And you can see one of those times in this long white line that goes all the way over to here. That was a night when she just needed easy stitching, and so she just took her thread and ran all the way across with that one line because she just needed some easy stitching. So that's what the sky will be for her now that she knows kind of how to do needlepoint, and then she can work in the rest a little by little.
Yeah, I am really enjoying it. I did count a cross stitch, which you all know, and that was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed that, but it just is too difficult for me to see the holes. Although as I'm working with this, I think, well, maybe I could do one on Ada that has, that's a big count. So I don't know if I'll ever attempt that or not, but I am really enjoying this. This was the second best, and that's what made me choose needlepoint to begin with. So.
We did see when we were at the local needlework shop here in Palm Coast, we did see a Mill Hill ornament from Jim Shore that she liked of a snowman, and that came with perforated paper, which obviously the holes on that are much easier to see. So she thought maybe eventually she could try that, or even stitching on a plastic canvas or something that have the holes that are bigger and more easy to see, kind of like needlepoint, but in the cross stitch form. So we'll keep you posted if any of that happens as well, but that's all sort of future things.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I think those are her updates. So she had one finish, one whip, and one addition to haul, and we just wanted to share that before I went back to New York. So.
And I do want to say it has been so much fun stitching in the evenings with Andy. I will miss that greatly. Maybe I'll have to FaceTime you some nights and still stitch together.
Do a Zoom call or something.
Yeah. And also him finishing the Fruits of Plenty while he was here, that is just amazing. It looks so good on camera, but in person, it is just fabulous, and I just love it. And he had left it lay out here for quite a while, and every time I'd walk by to do something where it was laying, I would just stop and look at it and just marvel. I mean, the stitches and stuff he did were just amazing. So
it has been really fun to finish this down here and get to show her. And the other day my aunt was here, and so she could see it as well, and both of them were really proud and excited to see what a big piece of cross stitch I finished after learning it from the two of them. So
for sure. Yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's it. So we'll catch you when the next time I'm here.
Okay.
All right.
All
Bye.
right, bye.
I hope you really enjoyed seeing her update. She's been working very hard on her projects, and for her to have a finish and to get so far on her needlepoint has just been amazing to watch. So thank you for letting her share her projects as well. And I'll keep you updated the next time I'm here where she's at with her other pieces. So now I guess we can jump into my projects for the week. So I've got 5 whips to share with you today, and pretty much the standard fare of what I've been showing, minus one big one, Fruits of Plenty, since that has been finished. And I want to just say thank you so much for all of your kind words on that finish. That finish meant a lot to me personally, but also a lot on this channel because it's been here basically since the very beginning. And you've seen me go through that whole piece with you. And So just reading all of your kind comments and kind words about that finish has really meant a lot to me. So thank you so much for doing that. The first whip I want to start talking about today is the Whip into Shape piece. Whip into Shape is a challenge that I have where you can stitch along with different walks I'm recording. I have a second YouTube channel called Andrew in Stride. I'll link that down below. And I'm recording videos of walking around Florida, and pretty soon it'll be walking in New York City, which will be exciting. But there's a spreadsheet also linked down below in the description that kind of shows you how much to stitch for each walk that I do. You can stitch for the miles or the time that I'm stitching or the number of steps that I take. And it's all broken down there so you can see what you should stitch for, and you can pick your category and go from there. But it's been a really fun challenge. It's been fun to see the progress that some people are making on their pieces, and even the progress that I'm making on my piece. The one that I chose is 1838 Elizabeth Masterton. Here's what this is going to look like, even though this picture does not do it justice in any means, but it's a very beautiful piece. I will pop a picture up here of where it was when I started the challenge, so you get a full glimpse of kind of the progress that I've made on this piece. And I don't have an exact stitch count this week, although I know I added at least 300 stitches. When I was stitching this week, we had uploaded walk number 15, which was Washington Oaks State Park here in Florida. If you haven't watched that one yet, definitely go check it out. It is a beautiful, beautiful walk through the gardens in the state park with a lot of blooming flowers. We see a lot of critters on the way, so definitely check that out if you haven't watched it yet. It's a very, very peaceful, nice walk to enjoy. But that walk called for 288 stitches if you're stitching for the miles that I walked. And so I definitely put in over 300 stitches on this piece. But then I just kind of kept going and did a lot of back stitching, so I'm not exactly sure what the full number is, but I'll just show where I got to now. So here is Elizabeth Masterton. And what you'll notice is I worked on the top border. So this whole section right here is what I was working on, and I'm happy to say I reached the corner. I reached the other side. So you'll see I have plenty of, well, not plenty, but I have a margin on both sides. It's gonna fit at least that direction. But yeah, I basically took those leaves all the way over to the edge and then kind of started stitching down a little bit of the border there. And the back stitching I was talking about is this single line backstitch border at the very top, and also this middle backstitch line that goes underneath the border. Those are the two that I sort of worked on after I reached the 300 stitches. So here's the piece in total of what I've got so far. It's absolutely beautiful. These colors coming together are just wonderful, and I really enjoy working on it. It's such a fun piece. So next time I might continue to add these buds here in the border just to get that top border all the way completed. Or I might also come down here and continue working on this piece because I really do love the colors in that section. So we'll see. But yeah, this got over 300 stitches, and you can see from the very beginning of the challenge how far I've actually gotten on this piece, which is really nice to have a decent start on this and just continue going. So that is Elizabeth Masterton. This is stitched on a 40 count paper bark by Fox and Rabbit linen, and I'm using the called for Averissois silks, one strand of silk over 2 linen threads, and just, yeah, really, really beautiful. Now, as far as the Whip into Shape challenge goes, continuing this week, I think this is the week we're going to have a bye week, an off week, where I don't have any new videos to post. And the reason for that is that I'll be traveling back to New York. So the next time you see me, I should be back in my apartment in New York City. And with all the traveling going on, I just don't think I'm going to have a chance to film another video here in Florida. And I might not be able to film a walk in New York by the time I film next week. So we're going to take a week off, and there'll be no new videos posted this week. But get ready, because then the following week we're going to start with the New York City walks, and that's going to be really exciting. I'm probably going to have, I'm hoping for at least 2 walks a week that we'll be posting and just kind of sharing. And I'm really, really excited for that. So stay tuned for that. But this will be an off week, which will allow you to kind of put in some stitches, maybe get caught up, take a little rest if you are already caught up, and get ready to keep going in New York City. So that's where we're at with the challenge. All right, now let's jump into the rest of the whips for the week. So the first piece that I worked on was for temperature stitching. This is Woodland Enchantress. It is a kit from Dimensions, and here is what it's going to look like. She is just beautiful. I really, really love this kit. I'm going to put a picture up here of where I was when I started this week because I kind of forgot to put in a video. I forgot to film a video, so I'll add that picture here so you can see where I started. And it was called for 5 days of temperature stitching, so 500 stitches. I ended up putting in 747 now, so that seems a little bit over, but some of those were half stitches. So I did work in the background some this week, and so that's why I went a little bit over that amount. But here is where Woodland Enchantress is at now. And you might be wondering, well, what did you actually work on? So the first thing I did was this green section right in here of her dress. I have now connected that with the blue. So you can see that there's no missing stitches in there anymore. There is one more color of green that needs to go in right here in that section, but the rest of it is filled in now, which is exciting. Then I came over here and worked on some of the background. So I finished all the background that is in here and brought some of these other colors down through here as well, and just kind of worked on those. Those are all half stitches. Hopefully you can see those there. But yeah, that's what I worked on. So bringing in this sort of green section and the background, that was the number of stitches I needed for the week, and was a lot of fun. She stitched on all the kit materials. So this is an 18 count Ada that came with the kit. I'm using all the kit DMC that came with it. And I'm following the kit as far as like how many strands I do backstitch in or how many strands I do half crosses in. All of that is followed from the kit. So yeah, that's Woodland Enchantress. Really happy to have that completed, and she'll keep coming out because she's still in temperature stitching, and so we'll continue to see progress on her, which is nice. I'm really happy. You know, I didn't know how much I'd get to work on her here in Florida, but I'm really happy with the progress that I've made. I think according to markup, which isn't exactly 100% on this chart, but it says I just reached the 50% mark. Now, that of course doesn't include all the back stitching, so I have kind of started some of the back stitching in there, but definitely not completed it all. So maybe I'm not quite at 50% yet, but at least of the stitching part, I am now 50% on this piece, which is exciting. So that's Woodland Enchantress. The next piece I worked on was also another temperature stitch call, and that is Under the Oaks from Merejka. This is a beautiful kit that I have really enjoyed working on, and I'm excited to keep going on it. So I will put a picture or a video if I've got one. I can't remember. This week felt a little scattered for me, so I'm not sure if I had a video of where I started this week or not. Okay, here's my starting point for Under the Oaks. I'm going to be starting right here and bringing down this diagonal all the way to here, and then if I get far enough, I will come back up here and start the next one. So you will see where I get to now. This week I was able to add in 713.5 stitches, and that was for 2 days of temperature stitching, and then we had at least 200 stitches for my Patreon members. Some of them voted to put stitches into this piece this month, and so I added that now. So as you can see, we got a little bit further into the tree trunk here, which is super exciting. I love the way the tree is looking already. You can kind of see the dimension in the like rings of the bark of the tree coming through, and I think that's really cool. And then I brought that diagonal all the way down through the heavy section of leaves and got right down here to where we just reached the sky. So a lot of that will be half stitches and probably go a little bit faster for the rest of the diagonal. But the part I'm super excited to share with you is we're gonna zoom in here. This right here, these brown colors right here, that is the first antler of the deer. So we have now touched the deer, which was very exciting. I didn't actually realize that it was in this diagonal until I got to this point, and I celebrated with my mom. She was sitting in her chair and I was stitching, and I said, well, I'm putting in the first stitch. She was like, of what? I said, of the antler. I reached it. So yeah, so that brown, you can't really tell so far that it's an antler, but it is that's what that section is right there. So that was fun to reach that sort of mark and milestone. This one is stitched on all the kit materials, so I think this one has a 16 count Ada that it's stitched on, and I'm using all the kit floss materials and everything as well. Just really enjoying this, especially stitching it with their app, FantaStitch app. It's a lot of fun. So this will definitely keep coming out. It is in temperature stitching still, but it's just one that I'm really enjoying. So it'll keep coming. But yeah, just really exciting to have a little bit more of this trunk and the tree completed. Loving the colors. The next piece I worked on was Saga from Long Dog Samplers, and here is what this one is going to look like. I share this every week, so you probably already know this by now, but that's what the piece looks like, all those beautiful arches. And this one I do have a video, so I will pop in a video of where I was when I started the week. Okay, here's my starting point for Saga. I'm going to start right here where I left off on this arch and bring this column down as far as I can. I assume I'll probably only get about maybe halfway down the column, but you will see it now. And this week's Saga got 740 stitches, which is above the normal weekly limit. And the reason for that is, again, my Patreon members. Some of them voted to add extra stitches into Saga this week. So I worked on that a little bit more and added those stitches in for the month of April. So we got to 740 stitches, putting me at 61.11%. So let's show you where I'm at. So this is Saga. And I'll try to show the full thing here if I can. That's what it looks like. And we'll zoom in a little bit to show you what I worked on. And it was basically this sort of center section right through here. So I stitched all of this up here, this beautiful motif, and then came down here and started working on the column. I thought I might get to the halfway point on the column, which I kind of did right there, but there's definitely still a lot of work to go. I think as these columns and arches get bigger and bigger, I keep comparing them to past columns, and I think, oh yeah, I'll be halfway done by the time I finish this week's stitching, and then I realize, oh no, these are like twice the size of the other ones. So it definitely takes a little bit longer than I'm expecting on these ones, but I think probably 1 or 2 more weeks and I'll have the rest of this stitched, and then probably connect it on the bottom, and then we'll get into the actual arch itself. And that will be the center arch of this row. So there's 3 large arches the size of this one, and then there's another half arch the size of this one over here that goes on this side. So that's the piece. This is the full look at it again. I'm stitching this on a 36 count vintage country mocha using the Silks For You PR207, 1 strand of silk over 2 linen threads. And yeah, just really happy with this one. I can't believe how far it's come already, 61%, but here we are, and I'll just keep working on it. It's also amazing to me that I still have 40% to go, and it's gonna still take a while, but I'm just gonna keep chipping at it little by little each week, getting in my 550 stitches, and that will get me a completion by February of 2028, which is the goal. So that is my progress on Saga. And the final piece I pulled out this week was one you haven't seen in a couple of weeks, but this is Treasury of Compassion from Teresa Kogut. Here's what this beautiful chart and prayer is going to look like in the center. And I pulled this out a little bit because it was nice, easy stitching, and that was kind of what I was in the mood for that night, but also because of Easter. And I felt like this was appropriate to stitch on for the Easter holiday, Easter season, and yeah, get some more work done. So I'll put a picture in here of where I was when I started this week, and I was able to add roughly 300 stitches. I don't have the exact count, but roughly 300 stitches. And this time I worked solely on the words. So here's what the piece looks like as a whole. This is stitched on a 36 count unknown fabric, unknown dyer, and I'm using the Valdani, the called for Valdani, which I think is Autumn Harvest. I can never remember that one. But it's this beautiful variegated silk, floss. Yeah, and so here's where I got. So what did I add in this time? Well, first of all, I added in this word difficult, because this was being left out. And then I added this row of words and despondent down here. I think I actually added your right here as well. So yeah, just working on some of the words and sort of really taking their meaning to heart was nice this week. I'm going to just read to you what I have stitched so far. It says, Eternal God, in whom mercy is endless, and the treasury of compassion inexhaustible, look kindly upon us and keep on increasing your mercy in us, that in difficult moments we might not despair nor become despondent. And that's definitely a message that I sort of want to cling to these days, you know, that in difficult moments we might not despair nor become despondent. And I think that's so easy for me to despair in these moments that are really difficult. And I'm trying my best to learn to just trust in the grace and the compassion that's there for me. And yeah, so this was a nice piece to sort of stitch on and kind of just read the words as I was stitching and really kind of focus on what it means to me. I am getting not close to a finish, but you know, there is still a lot of stitching here at the bottom. So I'm about at this flower pot right here. So I have this angel and then the Quakers along the bottom. And then of course the same on this side. But as far as the words go, I'm right here. So I've got about 2.5 more rows of words to go of the prayer. So this is not a huge piece, and you know, it might actually be one of my closer to a finished pieces now. I finished a lot that were you know, about 50% or more while I was here in Florida, and so this might be my closest to a finish, or one of the closest. So that is Treasury of Compassion from Teresa Kogut. All right, and those are the whips that I worked on this week. So let's jump into plans a little bit for next week. The first plan I've got is temperature stitching, and I will continue working on that this week. I'm going to put a picture of what the new chart looks like. Under the Yokes was only called for 1 day, so 100 stitches. I'm sure I will put in more than that because I still really enjoy that piece. But that was called for 100 stitches, and then Woodland Enchantress got all the rest. So 600 stitches will go into Woodland Enchantress for her 2 categories that she's in right now. And on top of that, it does complete her Witch Whip category. So again, we've made it through another Witch Whip. 1,000 stitches have been added to Woodland Enchantress for that category, which is super exciting. And that means it's time for us to pick a new Witch Whip. Now, how this works if you are new here is I have a wheel that lists all of my whips on it, and I'll spin that twice, so you have 2 options, and then I have you vote on which one of those you would like to be put into the temperature stitching Witch Whip category. So the exciting thing about this time is that I will be back in New York, which means we can use my full whip list now. So I have 25 whips currently, and they're all on this tiny decisions wheel right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin this wheel twice, and we'll see what your choices are for the new Witch Whip category. All right, here we go. And the first one is Under the Oaks. I was just saying how much I love it. That's awesome. That is the piece you just saw, the deer picture. So that is your first option, Under the Oaks. It is in the New Start category of temperature stitching, but again, that doesn't matter. And again, it is one I really enjoy stitching on, so I'd be happy if that was the winner. Let's spin again one more time and see which whip we get. And now we got Mr. and Mrs. Claus. That is so funny because both of those projects are here in Florida with me. That is really, really funny. Okay, so your 2 options are Under the Oaks, and for that one, use the word deer, D-E-E-R, or for Mr. and Mrs. Claus, use the word Santa, S-A-N-T-A. Those are the 2 pieces you will get to choose from. So I will be excited to see which one you choose and which one goes into that Witch Whip category. As far as the other April plans I have lined up, the one thing that I haven't started yet or worked on is my WhipGo calls. And for WhipGo, number 13 was called, which is a new start for me. So you will see a new start eventually with 500 stitches put into it. And I think I'm going to wait till I get back to New York to start that, because I've got a couple of options, but I also kind of want to just wait till I get back to New York in case there's one there that is really calling to me. So I'm not sure what it's going to be yet. There is a full coverage that I really want to start, and I think maybe that will take the win, but we'll see when I get back. So stay tuned for that. And then I've got 2 other WhipGo calls to finish for the month of April, so I'll be working on those as we move forward. The other thing is I was able to pick the new winner of a pair of stitched dice that goes to one of my Marathon Stitch Squad Patreon members. And super excited that she was very excited to be receiving that. So I'm going to start the stitching process on that when I get back to New York in the color that she chose. And so that'll be part of my April plans and goals as well. And of course, SAGA as well. That will come out for the weekly stitches. And as far as the life update, the big thing is that I'm going back to New York, which I've said a couple of times now. Yeah, the next time you see me on next Tuesday, I'll be filming back in my apartment in New York City. And I'm super excited to kind of get back to that routine and kind of just getting back to my apartment there and everything. So that's happening. But in the meantime, my parents and I have just been trying to enjoy the last week of time here with them. And so it was a very busy weekend. We went to the beach twice. We took a long bike ride. We went on a dinner cruise. on the water since last week, and we just did a lot of activities, which was so much fun. And it was okay that my stitching didn't get as much done this week, but we really got to spend some time together, and that really felt special. When I've been here for 4 months, you think that time is, you're gonna have so much time with them and it's gonna be so much fun. And it was, but it goes so quickly. You don't realize how quickly 4 months can go by. And suddenly we're like, oh my goodness, we only have a week left. We have to do all these things that we want to do. So it's been a very, very fun but busy last week of being here. And just trying to soak in the sun a little bit on the sunny days and trying to take advantage of the time with my parents has been really great. I mentioned briefly the dinner cruise that we took, and we did that last Wednesday evening, which was the night that the Artemis rocket was launched. And what was really cool is that we were on the boat while that was happening. And so we had a great view of seeing the rocket sort of go up into the sky. And that was really a special moment for us three to sort of be there. We were able to stand on the edge of the boat and have a clear view, and it was really great. So I am gonna I'll put a picture up here of us and the sunset on that boat, just so you can see, we were enjoying ourselves on this little dinner cruise along the river in Daytona Beach. And at the end of this video, once I'm done talking, I'll put in a clip of the rocket launch itself, so you can see sort of the video that I was able to get of it from the boat, which was a really cool moment. So I hope you enjoy that as well. But I think that's all I've got for you this week. So keep running if you're a runner, always keep stitching, and be kind to whoever you meet on your journey. Bye for now, until the next stitch.
There it goes, folks.
There it goes. There it goes. Where it's going.
Oh, there it is.
Oh my
See, there it is, Sally. See it?
Oh,
Straight ahead. Straight ahead. Carol.
Where is it?
It's coming this way.
Yeah, where is it? Straight ahead this way.
Oh my gosh.
Suckers going all over.
Yeah, yeah.
Or maybe my focus.
There we go. Finally got it.
It looks so small.
Doesn't it?
It's up there. It's up there.
I lost it. There he is.
Wow, we're getting a perfect view.
Yeah.
It's right there. It's right there.
I know, but I can't see
Look at
that
that
damn
blue.
thing. There he
Okay,
is.
there it is. There it is. Okay, there it is. Right in front of us. Yeah. There
I
goes.
can see the end of the tip of
Yeah.
it.
There he goes.
Yep.
Yeah,
Look at
there
that.
we
You
go.
can actually see the tip.
Yeah, yeah, look. Wow, there it goes.
That was separation, right? That's coming back in a second.
Now it's
It's separated, yeah.
Yeah.
We have this coming down. And the other one,
Well, good luck.
that was something.
That's it.
See that?
Yeah, that's it.
You won't see it for another 70 years. I didn't hand it up.
Safe travels.
Wow. God bless America.
Yep. Wow.
Yes.
That's good.
So what did you two think of the launch?
It was cool to see. Beautiful night for it.
Can't see it.